Hey you guys, welcome back to Locked in Haven. Here's the part 2 video that I promised you guys for this client who has thin, fine locks that are pretty much basically separating from the hair follicles and strands in the very front of her hair due to the products and things that she's utilizing at home. So here I'm just showing you guys the thinning and all the separation. Now there is a few methods that I could have utilized to repair this lock in the front, but sometimes, just as my own judgment, because a lot of people do a lot of things differently, I feel when it comes to a lot of lock separation in this case, especially if it's super fine and thin, I like to just cut it off. I like to cut it off and reattach the lock at base. That's just my thing. I just feel like with time, the same situation will eventually happen again if I don't just reattach this lock completely, because it is obviously telling me, hey, it's too much weight at the base for this. We need to start over. And so I just go in and I always just end up snipping the finer, thinner locks that tend to break off. And this is, like I said, really from her wearing headbands and constantly retwisting the front of her hair and brushing the front of her hair back just so she doesn't have to deal with all the frizz. So as you guys can see, I've cut it, I've combed out the end, I'm showing you guys here. I then go in and nuzzle it at the very top, and kind of, as you guys can see, I'm trying to like mesh that root hair around the lock itself, not like noticeably around it, but just enough to make sure that the lock is at the base of the hair. I'm then gonna go in with my 0.5 mm needle, and just basically, I've made a video on how to crochet with this needle, but I'm basically just going in and gathering the hair. This needle is very tricky because it is very tiny, so I am literally trying to grab every piece of strand that I could get and gather to make sure that I'm securely putting this lock back in place. And as you guys can see, it's starting to form, it's starting to attach. Just gotta be patient. You know, a lot of people I see utilizing these needles, they move pretty fast, and it's possible to move pretty fast, but being their hair was so fine and brittle, I didn't want to, you know, go too fast. I wanted to really make sure that I'm getting those strands attached, not to mention the needle itself is very fine, very small and skinny. You guys are going to see me eventually pick up my other needle, which is a bit more thicker. I think it's 0.75 millimeters, just to kind of clean things up. So it actually is in my hand now. I hope I can see the measurements on here, but if not, I'll just link it in my bio, my description box below. But I'm going in and I'm going to basically, I think this is 0.5 mm as well, so the black one might have been the smaller one. I'll have to get the measurements so that I can make sure I give you guys the accurate ones, but I can tell by which one it is and that I need to utilize based on just the size when I see it in person. So we're just going in with this needle, just kind of making sure things are secure. I'm gonna make sure I do the tug test, pull on it, making sure that the lock is there, firm, stuck, we're good. And she shouldn't have to deal with this again, unless she goes back to those harsh practices where she's slicking her hair back a lot, because obviously from the looks of it, it's something that her hair is prone to doing, but it's something that can be maintained if she does not go back to the same practices. She's utilizing silk scarves, making sure she's not slicking her hair back too much, over manipulating the front of it. That way she doesn't keep having this same problem again. But like I said in my other videos previously, this is not always a quick one fix thing and you're done. This can happen again to her if she does not come to her routine appointments. Just, you know, stick with the routine that I've given her to make sure that this isn't something that happens. As you guys can see, I'm doing that tug test once again after I've palm rolled it and locksmith it, making sure that everything is nice and neat. You're going to see these smaller baby frizzes, which I'm not too upset about. Sometimes, especially with crocheting, you're not going to be able to get especially with the texture of her hair as well. Silkier, smaller pieces are going to sometimes try to linger out, but that's fine. We still ended up with a clean and polished look, As you guys can see, she has another one at the top, which I did not show in this video because I felt like priority was just showing you guys the method. But if you guys want to see more of my crocheting videos, be sure to look at the rest of the videos on my channel. As I promised, this was a part 2 video, so I'm just gonna let the video go on, and make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.